is Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a video all about books I'm currently obsessed with. I feel like I have not done this video in so long because March was a rough month. I only had 2 5-star reads in the month of March, so I was not loving what I was reading. I have had so many 5-star reads, and I'm in the middle of 2 books that I'm for sure are like, these are at least 4 stars, if not 5. I love them so much, so I will go ahead and talk about the books that are making me super excited and giddy about reading again. And I also do have my new sweatshirt I got. You can't really tell because it's like gray on gray, but it's the Tortured Post Department sweatshirt I got off of TikTok. I love it. I'm loving her new album, But Daddy I Love Him I think is my favorite song, but I also love Down Bad. So good. Okay, anyways, we're gonna get to the books. The first one is one of my new favorite series, and that is We Promis by Ashley Munoz. This book is a motorcycle romance, and this one I started on my run this morning, which I was not feeling working out. I almost didn't because I just got back from Readers Take Denver yesterday at like 10:30 at night. Didn't go to sleep until midnight because I'm someone who has to unpack when I get home. So I did not want to work out, but I was like, it's fine. I'm gonna do it because I haven't worked out all weekend and I only have 3 days until I leave for a Polycon. So I worked out and I started this arc. I completely forgot I was working out. This book is so good. So the hero and heroine have a little bit of like an unrequited love past. So they meet when her mom kind of like jumps from motorcycle club to motorcycle club to be like supported by someone, and they just settled into this new club. She's 13 and she sees the hero who is also her age, and she really likes him, but he is definitely very like quiet and not brooding, but he's just like kind of a nerd. He just like reads a lot, keeps to himself, and she really likes him and he does not show her any attention. And now we know in the present she is pregnant with someone else's baby who is kind of like his basically brother. They grew up together, but they're not like blood related, and he wants nothing to do with the baby and her, and she's kind of like in fear of her life. So she is sent to the other motorcycle club, which is the club that our series is about. And I'm like 15% in and I am absolutely obsessed. I have to read a book club book next, and I don't want to put this down to go read that, even though I have to finish this book by Wednesday. So obsessed, love it. If you like motorcycle romances, pick this one up. The next one I actually just started today as well. I started it on my walk with my dogs, and it is an audiobook that I'm listening to, and it's Burnout by Rebecca Genshak. So this book, I'm telling you, all the books I'm picking up have been so good. So this one is a motocross hero, and he's actually trying to get into like doing tricks. I forget what it's called, but like he's trying to train to do tricks and he's not the best at it, and he really wants to do well because he wants to support his family. We see the characters from the last Campus Wallflowers book, which I loved. The hero and this one is actually brothers with the hero of the last book, and I give that book 5 stars. I was obsessed. So this one we see a lot of the family, which I really love, but they don't have their parents around anymore, so he is trying to just make enough money for his family to provide for his younger brothers. So he wants to do that, but he met the heroine at a party and it did not go well. He's called her princess. They banter so well. I'm obsessed with their banter. And he knows he just learned, the part I got to, that he, in order to get better, should be trained by a gymnast because a teammate of his got like some gymnastics training and has so much better balance and ability to do tricks on the bike. And he is like, well, you met this girl yesterday and she's the one who trained me. And he's like, oh shoot, like I did not get off on the right foot with her, and she's what I need to be successful. And she's actually a Olympic medalist gymnast, so it is so good. I really like it, so definitely check it out. I don't remember when it releases. It releases soon, so check it out when it's out. Then this book got to number 2 in the Kindle store, which is actually so hard to do and so exciting. I was so obsessed with this book, and that is Midnight of Ashes by Tessa Hale. I was sent the PR package that had the special hardback edition, and it is so pretty. I loved the first hardback. It's always sitting, I actually have it next to me for a different video I'm filming, but it's always sitting up there because I just need them on display. It's gorgeous, but this is the second book in the Dragons of Ember Hollow series, and they're Waichu's Dragon Shifters, and I love a good Waichu's romance. I definitely need to read more of them, but this one is book 2. We do get a cliffhanger in book 1 and a cliffhanger in book 2. That's how her series usually work. There are 3 books total, and this one developed the romances between the guys so well. I'm obsessed with Waichu's romances where the heroine has such a distinct relationship with all of them, and you can really know who is who instead of them like blending together, because sometimes it is hard to keep track of them. There are 5 heroes, and the heroine in the first book learns that they are dragon shifters, and there's problems with the Horde and this kind of like government system that they have, and female dragon shifters are extremely rare, so she's definitely in danger. And then there is also someone putting her in danger as well, and she just really progresses with a couple of the relationships in here, and I love them so much, and it's definitely turning up the steam in this one. It is so good. If you like Why Choose and you like just very fast-paced, addicting romances, read this. I know I talk about it all the time, but it's another series I'm obsessed with right now. Okay, and then you're gonna look at this book and think, hasn't this been in a video last year? Okay, I got halfway through this and then I had to put it down for arcs, and I just never got to pick it back up because my reading schedule is always so packed. And I finally actually went back with the audiobook, started from the beginning, and finished The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy, and it was so good. I was so obsessed when I first started this, and I just never picked it back up, mostly because my reading is faster when I listen to audio, and I had the ARC and I was physically reading this, so my library had it and I loved it. I think Teddy Hamilton actually narrated it too. I listened to it almost entirely in one day when I was driving to Cleveland and had 4 hours in the car, and it was amazing, so good. Gigi is the daughter of Garrett Graham, who is like a hotshot hockey player from the Off Campus series. She's a hockey player, and she meets Ryder when he first comes into the rink for camp, and he assumes that she is a just like diva figure skater, and then quickly learns she is actually Garrett Graham's daughter and a really great hockey player. So they are both hockey players and they don't get off on the right foot. They bicker a lot, but Ryder has a lot going on because his college has to be combined with Briar U because they like closed their college or something, so they're combining all the athletics. So his team and Briar U are actually competitors, like rivals, and so they don't get along, and they're all fighting for like one team's position, and they're 2 teams. So he is nominated as captain for like one of the captains for the team, and so he's really stressed about that. And her dad hosts this clinic every summer and chooses a Briar hockey player to help coach it, and he really wants it. And then Gigi, she needs help with skating, so she really wants to make the Olympic hockey team for women's hockey, and she knows she's very weak behind the net, so she asks him to train her. He asks her to put in a good word with her dad for him, and they end up hooking up, and it is so good. And then they fall so hard for each other, and Ryder definitely has a very tough past. Trigger warnings for domestic violence, and he is just very closed off to people, but oh my god, it's so good. I love this book so much, and I give it 5 stars. I like cannot stop thinking about it, and I cannot wait for the next one, which I have an arc of. So excited. Then I do have a reading vlog, reading a lot of these. All of these are from this month, so my end of the month wrap up is going to be a little redundant, but I can't not do this video. We have A Funny Story by Emily Henry. I was shocked. I loved this. I physically read it, and it was so good because I've only loved Beach Read by her. I haven't like super loved anything else I've read, and this one starts off with our hero and heroine. The people that they are dating / engaged to break up with them to be with each other. So they are like lifelong childhood friends. The guy is her fiance, and he breaks off with her at his bachelor party because the friend was on the bachelor party. He realized he loved her. So she is like in this town that she knows nobody because she moved there with him. She has no place to stay because it was his house she was living in, and she's a librarian, and ends up moving in with the girl he left her for, her ex-boyfriend. So he's very depressed, this ex-boyfriend, and they slowly start to get to know each other, and then he is like, here's the deal, like, I know you want to leave, and she's looking for job opportunities, but he's like, leading up to this big readathon you have at the library, why don't I show you what's great about this town and take you out every weekend? And he does, and she slowly learns more about him, and it is so cute. The way that they like fall in love is adorable, and I loved it so much. And the heroine and hero both deal with not so great parents, and we delve into that a lot. So it always has more of like lit fic quality to it, but the romance was just top tier. I was obsessed. There is a 3rd act breakup that could have been annoying, but I honestly thought it was so realistic for them as a couple. Obsessed. Please read this book when it comes out. I think it comes out tomorrow, the day I'm filming this, so maybe come out today, the day this goes up, so read it. Then, I know I've talked about this a lot, but I want any excuse to show off this book, and that is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I was actually sent the PR package, which has the exclusive edition. You can see it's foiled, and then it actually has sprayed edges, and the paper is pink. It is the most stunning package I've ever gotten, and we do have an art print. This is a single dad romance, and I was obsessed. It's small town. He's a billionaire, and he is in his hometown he grew up in the summers that he really loved. He is opening a music studio, and the heroine is his best friend's sister, and she and him have bickered and bantered all their lives and grew up together, and they both had unrequited crushes on each other, which they actually doesn't mean they're unrequited because they both had crushes on each other, but they thought they were unrequited. And he especially is like, he fell first, and he falls first throughout this whole book. It is so good. But a teenage girl shows up. She's 13, and I think she's 13. She shows up and says that she is his daughter, and he had donated sperm, and she is his daughter, and she needs a place to stay. So he takes her in. So it's single dad. It is amazing. Oh my gosh, the banter in here is so good. I was obsessed. I love their dynamic so much. I love brother's best friend, and it was just so good. Like, the history between them was amazing, and they were just at points in their lives where they really didn't know what they wanted to do, and like the heroine had just been fired from her job, so now she's back home and now she's working for him, and it was perfect. Please read this. Then another one is one that is very hyped, but I am on board with the hype, and that is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I also listened to this in one day. I could not put it down. I love Abby Jimenez. She writes the most endearing, adorable, amazing heroes, and Justin was no exception. He feels like he's cursed because every woman he dates, the next person they date finds their one true love. So he's like, I'm never gonna find it because they always find it after me. And so he posts that on Reddit. The heroine reads it, and she's like, hey, that's also what happens to me. So she messages him, and they start this really cute online romance and are talking to each other then on FaceTiming, and they end up like kind of falling for each other, and they're like, well, hey, there's this crazy idea. Why don't we date each other so that like we can break this curse and like find our one true love after each other? So they know they have to break up, but they're like, yeah, let's do it. So she decides to move to Minnesota, and she's a travel nurse, so she moves there with her best friend, and they date, and it is adorable. Like, the fact that they're so obsessed with each other and they never want their dates to end and will do anything to make them go on longer is so cute. She is dealing with parent stuff though, and he has to take custody of his siblings for a certain situation happening, so very emotional, so good, obsessed. The dynamic was everything. They were adorable. I could not put this book down. I still think about it. They're so perfect. And the last one is Rope the Moon by Ava Hunter. This one is a small town romance, and I think I finished it at the beginning of this month. It is a second chance romance, and you know I love those. So she's actually pregnant with someone else's child. She has a very abusive boyfriend that she has a bakery with, and she left her small town for bigger and better things, and she goes running back home, but she gets stranded about 8 hours from home. Her car breaks down. She is so pregnant, and she's like, I don't know what to do. She calls her dad. He has cancer, and she doesn't know that, and so he can't make that drive. And so her ex, who nobody knows they were together, they were secretly together for a year. It was supposed to be physical, no feelings, but they obviously fell for each other. But she was leaving town, so she left, and he is just left there, and he comes running to her. He makes the drive in like 4 hours, and he's like, who did this to you? Let me take you home. It is so good. He takes her home, and she won't open up about what happened to her. She's very hesitant to, but he is just like so in love with her and protective of her, and they start falling in love. And there is definitely suspense at the end because like obviously this ex is not like about to like leave her, and I loved it so much. If you like romantic suspense at the end of your romances, small town romance, we have him working on a ranch. He works with horses. Like, read this book. And those are all the books that I am currently obsessed with. Let me know if you've read them and what your thoughts are, or if you have any books that you're currently obsessed with. I would love to hear, and that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.